What to say about Five Nights at Freddy's that hasn't already been said? I mean, come on guys, we already know that this game has and will continue to go down in history as one of the best horror games of all time. And with such great and scary gameplay obviously comes great and scary music. Hello all you gamers out there, my name is Jack Stevens and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. It's time for me to finally put my music degree to good use because today we are going to be analyzing and taking a look at some of the scariest songs featured all across the FNAF games. Now I went through close to 200 songs, so I hope you're all going to appreciate the work I put in for you. I'll be doing my best to go in order of the games so that we can have somewhat of a coherent timeline unlike the actual FNAF games, but try not to get mad at me if I jump around a little bit. We're also going to be reserving our top 2 spots for some FNAF parody songs because they are too good not to mention. If you love hearing us talk about FNAF, which I think you do, then check out our channel's FNAF playlist. It is updated all the time and full of all of our FNAF videos that we have ever done. With that in mind, let's get into it, gamers. Number 10, FNAF 1 Main Menu Theme Song. Come on, how could we not start off with this absolute classic? The nostalgia alone makes it one of the scariest themes in the entire FNAF series. This background music is one of the first songs that we get to hear in the FNAF series. Now why is it so scary? Well, let's try and break it down a bit. It opens with this deep and somewhat guttural swell that already sets the tone and lets the audience know that this is a horror game, and those thunderous booms throughout it only further support that fact. The instrumentation they chose is also a great choice because they chose ones that are normally associated with the horror genre, such as timpanis, chimes, and large drums like bass drums. Now if you listen closely throughout the track as well, you will hear electricity surging and crackling, and this could be a subtle nod to the fact that not only do you have to conserve the energy you use throughout the night, but also the fact that the animatronics are the main enemies of the game. Number 9, Music Box Freddy. I'm sure we all remember the first time we ran out of power playing the first FNAF game and the terror we felt sitting in the dark not knowing what was going to happen. And then out of nowhere this music starts playing that sounds exactly like a child's music box, and we catch a glimpse of Freddy Fazbear himself to the left of us just before the screen goes black and we get the jump scare of a lifetime. The reason this is so scary is obviously because of the jump scare, but let's step back and look at the music for a second. Like I said before, this is very reminiscent of a child's music box, which isn't inherently scary by itself. What they did to make it scary was they added a ton of reverb and have it be slightly out of tune to insinuate that it's very old. Now could this be a music box that is somehow tied to Gabriel's soul? Honestly, who knows? Number 8, London Bridge is Falling Down. Featured at the very beginning of the FNAF 2 trailer is the classic nursery rhyme London Bridge is Falling Down. You know the one, sing it with me now. You know, London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down, London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. That one. This is again not inherently scary, it's how it's used in the trailer that makes it scary. The first 14 seconds of the trailer features a small group of children, I want to say like 4 or 5, singing an a cappella version of the nursery rhyme that is slowed down just a bit with a ton of reverb on it. This could totally be the children whose souls are trapped within the animatronics. Now there's no exact meaning behind this nursery rhyme, but one explanation actually fits perfectly into the game's lore. The song refers to the burying, perhaps alive, of children in the foundations of the London Bridge. This was first advanced by Alice Bertha Gome in the traditional games of England, Scotland, and Ireland. It was based around the idea that a bridge would collapse unless the body of a human sacrifice was buried in its foundations, and that the watchman is actually a human sacrifice who will then watch over the bridge. Pretty scary, and honestly, doesn't the idea of children's souls trapped sound a little bit familiar? Number 7, FNAF 2 trailer song. Definitely the biggest banger on this list today. Like man, they went off on that production of the song and I am so here for it. So you probably guessed it, but this song is featured throughout the FNAF 2 trailer, directly after the London Bridge is falling down. With a bold, heavy, and deep drone note to start coupled with an oscillating tone that fades in and out, already immediately creates a creepy atmosphere. The song gets pretty groovy from there on out with a sweet beat that is very reminiscent of 1980s house music, which immediately lets the viewer know that this game is set somewhere in the 80s, 1987 to be exact. Now I will admit that this song by itself wouldn't be scary, but the fact that it is heard alongside the new animatronics being shown makes for a fun and very uneasy experience. Number 6, FNAF 3 Stage 01 Golden Freddy minigame music. Another music box song on our list today, this time coming from the FNAF 3 Golden Freddy minigame. To trigger this minigame, you have to treat the tiles on the wall like a dial pad and type in 3, 9, 5, 2, 4, 8. And in order for the player to get the basic ending, the player must take control of Golden Freddy in a highly odd, clipping platform game. An exit door is present in the top right corner of this first room, which will end the minigame for good. Throughout this minigame, Tchaikovsky's Swan theme from Swan Lakes plays, and let me describe a bit of the meaning behind it. Swan Lake is a timeless love story that mixes magic, tragedy, and romance into 4 acts. It features Prince Siegfried and a lovely swan princess named Odette. Under the spell of a sorcerer, Odette spends her days as a swan swimming in a lake of tears, and her nights in her beautiful human form. Now, I could just be speculating here, but this could be a nod to the fact that during the day the animatronics don't really do a whole lot, but at night they regain their humanity and come back to life. If that's actually the reason it's in the game, then hats off to you, Scott Cawthon. You are a genius. Number 5. FNAF's sister location title theme. This one, I will admit, caught me by surprise. It had been a while since I listened to it, but man, is it a good one. Despite taking place in 1983, I couldn't really hear any 80s music influence aside from maybe the beat in the background. What really stuck out to me was 2 things: the mechanical sounds incorporated all throughout, and the interesting drone that appears about halfway through. The mechanical sounds got to me because it was kind of jarring to hear. It immediately lets the player know that this game is not taking place in the normal restaurants that we're used to, and that it's taking place in some sort of factory of some sort. Not to mention that it could be a nod to the fact that the animatronics that we encounter throughout the game are seriously tricked out with some serious tech. And then the drone gets to me because it sounds somewhat like a scream or a wail, which could totally be speculation, but hey, it's my opinion, right? The use of white noise is also great at setting the scary atmosphere because nothing is scarier than static and crackles. Number 4. Balloras Theme. Why do you hide inside your walls when there is music in my halls? All I see is an empty room, no more joy in empty tomb. It's so good to sing all day, to dance, to spin, to fly away. All I do is dance alone, but now I hear your flesh bone. I roam these halls alone all day, but now you're here, a friend and prey. Those are the lyrics to Balloras Songs, so need I say more about it being scary, or are we good to move on? You know, I should probably say some more, shouldn't I? Balloras sings this song in sister location, and I couldn't figure out the exact reason behind it, but let's do a bit of speculating. In my opinion, she is talking directly to the player, something that the animatronics rarely do, and she is acknowledging that you don't actually belong here, and that you should come out and play with her because she is just so lonely. And then she tells you that although you're a friend here, you are also their prey. All of that coupled with the scary reverb that makes her sound like this ethereal ghost just sends shivers up and down my spine. Number 3. Nowhere to Run. Coming to us from FNAF 6, aka Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, comes Nowhere to Run. It has this overall creepy vibe right off the bat with its heartbeat like bass drum and melancholy strings. Combine that with these swells and crackles and you've made a track that perfectly accompanies a dark minigame. In researching this track, I found a comment from 2 years ago where Ray B made an amazing observation that I will definitely not take credit for, stating that around 2:13 in the song, if you listen closely you can hear these thuds in the background, like metal bodies falling against the floor as they release their spirits and shut down. There's also loud knocking and faint fire alarms in the distance. Springtrap is probably the one knocking against the doors or walls, as he has no escape from this grim ending. As Henry said, there are no exits. He doesn't want to leave his metal body as he wants to continue on with his murderous career, but he's slowly dying until eventually the knocking dies down, meaning that he meets his fate and is sent to hell. Good eyes and even better speculating, my friend. I love it. Number 2, I Got No Time by the Living Tombstones. Alrighty now folks, it is time for some fan songs. For these I won't really be going into too much detail about the actual instrumentation and whatnot, I'll just be singing their praises and giving a brief overview of what they're about. I Got No Time by the Living Tombstones is a fan song about the gameplay of FNAF 4 and what it feels like to not only be the player, but to be the character in the game as well. The lyrics describe how terrifying it feels to be in this world, having to survive each night with what feels like no time left at all to survive, while simultaneously also taking forever to get to that endpoint. It encapsulates the fear of not knowing if you're going to live to see the next day, and I truly love it, so if you haven't heard this one, I highly recommend you check it out for yourself. And number 1, We Are Aware by Delvondo. Now I really love this one. The first half of We Are Aware by Delvondo is all about our main animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy, and how they are fully aware of what they've been turned into and that they cannot control their actions. The entire song is a plea to the listener asking them not only for their help, but for forgiveness for their actions. However, halfway through the tone shifts a bit and we hear the toy animatronics sing about wanting to escape and being willing to do anything necessary to do so, including taking you out. All the animatronics join together at the end, all on the very same page now, wanting nothing more than to take you out and to escape for good. Give it a listen for yourself, it's definitely worth it. Well, that'll be it for this video, gamers. There are about 200 songs in total across the FNAF games, which means that we have about, 190 left to talk about, so if you like this video, be sure to let us know in the comments below, and who knows, maybe we'll continue this list with a part 2. Heck, even if you like hearing me geek out over soundtracks, let us know in the comments as well, and maybe you'll see some more videos along these lines coming your way. Now, if you like getting your gaming factoids and tidbits from a man Amanda, Connor, and I, then you should definitely subscribe if you aren't already. And while you're at it, why not ring that notification bell so you know whenever we upload a video. As always, my name is Jack Stevens. Thank you so much for watching, gamers, and remember, our princess is always in another castle.